Hi, this is Trinesha Cottrell, and excuse, what's happening right here, but I'm about to exercise, so I wanted to hop on here really fast while I had like a little bit of time. And so this is probably going to be just like one of those quick video things. It's not going to be a like long drawn out thing because I got to go somewhere. I know every video I'm like, I gotta hurry up and get ready to do blah. And it's because I always try to like pack my schedule since the beginning of my healing journey. I always try to do a lot of things. And sometimes I'll be doing the most. And I will go and I'll be like, okay, Monday I'm doing blah, 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 blah. And sometimes life happens and the schedule might change or things might change and I might not be able to do the things that I had on my list of things to do. And so I always try to do the high priority things. Absolutely 100%. And so I was going to call this little short spiel absolutely, because it's so funny because people will ask me a question and I notice that one of the things that I like to say a lot is absolutely. Like it's either an absolutely or absolutely not. And so when somebody like tries me or someone does something that is kind of like when they ask me a question and I know for sure what my answer is, I'll be like, absolutely not. And people will be like, "Whew, like that's like deep. Like you could just say no, you could just say yes," but I'm like, no, I'm so sure of myself because I know who I am, that I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So when it comes to me making a decision of the things that I need, the things that I want in my life, it's so easy for me to make that decision because I know where I'm headed in life. I think that's why a lot of pastors, preachers, and like therapists and things like that like to say things like, if you know where you're headed, you'll know who can go with you. Because it's so true. Because when you don't have any sense of direction, you'll pick up anybody. You'll pick up any hitchhiker. You'll pick up any person as a friend, any job that you can make money at. Any person that's showing you a little bit of attention instead of picking the right people who are supposed to be in your life. And the way that you can determine whether those people are supposed to be there or not is by determining what your purpose is by figuring out where you are headed in life. If you know what your life is going to look like, what you aspire to have in your life, it's easier for you to choose like, yes, this person is, going to be fruitful in my life. Yes, this person could be beneficial in my life. Or no, this person is not going to add any fruit. It's not going to bear any fruit in this relationship. This job is only going to take from me. It's not going to add to the type of joy and peace that I have. It's going to make me stressed out. It's going to make me feel like I'm trapped instead of feeling like I can be headed in the trajectory that God has for my life. And so for me, when I think that's why it's more easy for me now with discernment when I meet people, like in a romantic way or as a friend, I know like whether we're going to be like cool or whether it's going to be like, right away. And I believe that I don't think it's all me. I really think it's God too, because when I rededicated my life to God, I said, God, I give you all of me. I said, God, I want the power of discernment of the person and discernment of the spirit. Because sometimes we will discern a person saying, okay, this is not a good person. But a person could be a good person, but the spirit that they have on them could be bad. I don't need either one of those in my life. I need to make sure that every person is intentional in my life. Every person is there because they care about my well-being and I care about theirs. I don't need any person there who doesn't care about my well-being. Any person there who is just trying to drain me. Any person there who is taking more from me than I could ever be able to give to them. Like I would need to be able to fill myself up so that I could help that person. If that person is taking so much from me that I don't have anything to give to anybody else, that's not beneficial or fruitful for my life. So it's important for you to realize, to really think, like really be real with yourself. Sometimes we want things and we're like, oh yeah, I really want this thing, but that thing is not prospering you. That thing is hindering you. That thing is holding you back. That thing is not allowing you to be the best that you could be, the best that God wants you to be, the best that God created you to be. And sometimes we feel like, oh, well, I've done this. I just don't deserve that. That's the adversary speaking. That is not God. God is the God of abundance. He did not have you go through the things that you went through in life by your own cognizance because you decided to make these decisions in your life when you could have made a better choice. Sometimes we wanted things so badly we thought that we knew better than God. And I'm just saying it just to be real. And lo and behold, we don't know better than God. God knows everything. God is the beginning and the end. He's the beginner and he's the starter and the finisher. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the creation of everything. And so of course he would know all things because he's omnipresent. He's omnipotent. God is everything. And so the sooner that you realize that, you know, I don't know everything that I think I know, the sooner that you start to do some self-reflection and you start to acknowledge your flaws, you start to acknowledge the things that you're doing wrong, you start to acknowledge the choices that you're making in your life, and you really start to be intentional about those choices. You start to be intentional about the relationships that you keep around, the conversations that you're having, where you're spending your time. Then you can live a more prosperous life. You can live a more beneficial life because it's not going to be based on one thing that you have or you don't have. It's not going to be based on what someone else thinks, when they think it, where they think it, and what time they think it. It's not going to be based on somebody else. You're waiting for someone else to position you in a place in your life where they want you to be. It's going to be about you being intentional about your life, and every single thing is done in intentionality. When you are getting up in the morning, you're intentionally brushing your teeth. You're taking care of your health. You are working out intentionally because you want your body to be as healthy as it can be. When you're eating, you're intentionally eating the type of foods that fuel your body. And I'm not saying you eat perfect all day, every day. I'm just saying for the majority, you are eating, the majority of the time, you are eating things that are beneficial to your body. When it comes to a job, every job that you apply for, every job that you are working in, whether it's a 9 to 5 or you're growing your business, you are intentional about the relationships that you have. You don't just settle for any type of like partner or any type of collaboration, because you want to make sure that that person has the same ideals as you. You want to make sure that you guys are mutually benefiting. You want to make sure that you are is cohesive. You want to make sure that whatever it is that you have a vision for your life is where that person is headed as well, and that it's not going to hinder your character being with this person, working with this person. And everything that you're doing is going to be something that is going to allow your business to grow in the way that God intended it to, at the speed that God intended it to. Sometimes we can have, like, I could have an opportunity to meet with someone and do business with them, and the person's morals are completely opposite. They have all of these things that they want to do in life that are nowhere near in line with the things that I want to do for my business. And even though it might be beneficial, I can't take that opportunity because I know God is going to provide all of my needs. I know that the right opportunity will come along. The person that I'm supposed to work with will come along, or unless it's something that I got to do by myself, then I got to do it by myself. I know that everything that I'm doing in life is going to be for a reason. I know that I have to do it with intentionality, and I have to stay true to who I am, keeping my core values and my morals and my ethics about what it is that I'm doing. Because when I'm working with people, I want people to be able to trust me. I want people to know that they can count on me. And in order for me to do that, I have to be intentional with everything that I'm doing. When it comes to a friendship, if I'm friends with somebody who's constantly talking about someone, and I'm not saying to get on those people, I'm just saying if I'm friends with somebody that's doing that, someone who's always complaining about their life, and I'm the type of person who's trying to have a positive outlook, their negative characteristic traits are gonna bleed over to me. It's not just like, oh, all of a sudden they're going to start being positive. Most of the time, all the negativity is so strong. Like all of that toxicity, that negativity is so strong. Sometimes it overpowers the good things. And so sometimes we forget that and we feel like, oh, well, maybe I could change this person. Maybe I could make this person be something that I want them to be instead of the person that they truly are. And it's nothing wrong with helping somebody that needs help, because I really truly feel like serving is a blessing. But make sure that when you are doing something for someone else, it's not changing you. It's not making you into someone that you don't want to be. It's not, your time is used intentionally. You're not wasting time doing something that's not benefiting the kingdom. You're not wasting time doing something that is just taking you back to the person that you used to be instead of the person that you are. You know, you want to make sure that every person that you have in your life is there because you are both benefiting. It's mutually beneficial. I'm benefiting because I'm pouring life they're pouring life into me, or they're giving me their time because they care about my well-being, and I'm pouring into them because I'm speaking life into them, and because I truly care about their well-being. So see how that's mutually beneficial. We both want each other to win. We're not just on the sidelines like, "Oh, there she goes again winning." We're like, yes, girl, yes. Like I really do that with my friends. And some people say I'm extra, but listen, I'm trying to be excited like it happened for me, because I know if it happened to my friend, if it happened to my family member, if it happened to somebody or in proximity, then the blessings are in the neighborhood and I'm next. You know what I'm saying? And so I really think about it like that. I think about that in relationships. I think about it in every way. When I see people get into a relationship, I'm so happy for them, and I pray over their relationship. I know this sounds so corny and people probably going to get on me, but when I see people in relationships, I pray. I'm like, God, I pray that their relationship with you grows stronger, or that if they don't, they have a relationship with you, and that you continue to guide them so that they know they see each other as a teammate instead of an opponent. I pray that that you strengthen all of the good characteristic traits that each of these people have, and that they are able to help one another instead of hinder one another. I pray that you continue to give them strength even in their weakest points, in the moments where life is trying to tell them that there's an easier way, where there's temptation coming and they feel like they're not going to be strong enough to handle it. I pray that you give them the wisdom and the courage and the strength to be able to make it through. I really just, I know it sounds real corny, but I do that when I see people together, especially when they seem happy. And I don't know what's going on behind closed doors or anything else, but I always pray for healing, and I pray that they have joy and peace in their life while they're together, and that they're constantly seeking God, because if you're seeking God, most of the time what God wants trumps what both of the people want anyways. And if you're focusing on God, even if you have differences, you want the same goal. You have the same end goal. You know what I'm saying? And so I always like pray for that for people. And God forgive me, but back in the day, or there's like sometimes there will be a person. Let's say there's this incident that happens, and you're like, you like this person, but the person's with somebody else. And I try to think about it like, I want the person to be happy. I want them to be happy. I want them to have all the things that God has for them. I want them to really have peace and joy in their life. And even though they're not with me, I try to think like, I still want them to be happy. I still want them to be able to do all of the things that God put on their heart for them to do. I want them to be able to benefit. And I pray that God takes any type of like insecurity or jealousy that I might feel, because you know how it is when you want something in life. You might want the job, you might want the car, you might want the person, whatever it is, and God might say that that can't go with you in a season. God might say that that's not for you. And a lot of people will say, well, it's not for me, there's something better, and they just try to make it seem like it's so happy. Listen, it sucks. Even though it sucks, it's going to be okay. I promise you. God's got it all under control. And even though, I mean, it sucks. I'm not going to sit up here and try to pretend like it doesn't suck. But whatever is for you is for you. And nobody can take that away from you. So if you're supposed to be with that person, if you're supposed to be in that job, if you're supposed to have that thing, God will make sure that you get it, or you get something better. So don't ever feel like you're missing out on something because you didn't get the one thing that you wanted, or because that person didn't come through, or because that job didn't come through. God is making sure that everything is working out for the good of those who are believing Him and are called according to His purpose. So if you're in your purpose, if you are seeking God, He is taking care of everything else. So stop worrying about things that you can't control, because it's going to stress you out and you're going to be crying a bunch of tears. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel sad in a moment. Like feel the feels. Emote when you need to. Men and women. Emote when you need to, so that you can get that out of your system. Because you don't ever want to hold on to those things and then harbor resentment, or harbor anger, or harbor hate, or any of those other toxic characteristic or emotional traits that you would feel. You want to make sure that you release all of those things so that God can pour into you the things that He needs for you to be beneficial in your life. So it sucks. It really, really sucks. But listen, It's going to be okay. God got you. I promise you, He has you. He will build a bridge over troubled water. You might feel like you don't see how you're going to ever smile again or how you're going to feel happy about something like that. But God will make a way out of no way. And like I said, anything that's for you is for you. It will happen. You don't have to do the most. You don't have to go outside of your character to try to, like, sabotage someone's job or sabotage a relationship. All you have to do is be you. Just continue to stay focused on God. And if the person is for you, it will happen. If the job is for you, it will happen. And if you keep on focusing on God, He will give you things that are exceedingly and abundantly above all else that you could ever ask, think, or imagine. And so while you're thinking that this is the best that God has better. And it's not that one person is better than another person. It's that some people are more grace for you than others. And even though you can't see it, God sees it. There was this pastor earlier that was talking about God's viewpoint and how when we are in a season or a situation in our life, we could feel like this is the worst season ever. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. This just sucks so bad. And I'm not saying it to be ungrateful. I'm saying like that's how you really feel in that moment. And we got to be real about that, because the more real you are with yourself, the easier it is for God to use you. The easier it is for God to be like, okay, I know what the problem is. I can help you here. He can't help you if you're not having a relationship with him, and if you're not being real with him. Whenever I talk to God, if I feel a certain type of way, I'll tell God how I feel. He is strong enough to handle any type of emotion that you throw at him. And He wants you to be that way with Him so that you could have that type of relationship with Him. When something sucks in my life, I'm like, God, this really sucks. I really do. I'm like, I'm thankful and I'm grateful and I have everything that I need. I'm not saying that I'm trying to be unappreciative, but this moment right here, it really sucks. And God, I can only imagine God being like, oh, it's okay. I have better for you. Like, just, it's okay in this moment. And the pastor said, well, we're looking at it from our viewpoint and we're like, oh, this sucks. God's looking at it like, this is the best you've ever been. I've never seen you so dedicated to your job. I've never seen you so dedicated to your purpose. I've never seen you so dedicated to your relationship with me. I've never seen you spend so much time praying, so much time listening to gospel music, so much time in church. I've never seen you serving so much. You haven't served as much as you do right now in this moment that you say sucks, that is more beneficial for the kingdom than anything else that you've ever done in your life. And sometimes we forget, like, that some of those moments are helping strengthen us, that some of those moments are helping make us into the person that God created us to be. Some of those moments are making us be the person who can go into the next level that God has for us. And if we keep looking at it from one viewpoint, we will never be able to see the benefits of our journey. And for me, like, although this moment sucks, it makes me want to serve more. It does. Because I want to be able to help other people. And it's something about helping other people that really feeds my soul. Like, if I could right now go to a soup kitchen or like a homeless shelter, and I'm not saying you just have to do that. It could be helping out family members and friends. It could be giving somebody a ride. It could be helping someone with their rent. It could be anything that you could do. I could go to a grocery store and pay for someone's groceries, or someone, really needs groceries in the house. And I'm like, okay, let me help you with this and I'm doing it for a selfish reason. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an angel. I'm doing it because I'm hurting and because I really like serving helps me, when it helps feed my soul when I feel empty. And so nothing makes me want to serve more than when I'm hurting. When things aren't going my way in my life, when things don't turn out the way that I want them to, when I don't get the things that I think that I wanted, when I'm serving, when I'm helping somebody else, it really helps me feel fuller. It helps me feel like I'm not just empty, like I'm like full of tears and sadness and just empty. It makes me feel like I still feel joy in the sadness, which is weird, but it's good. It's because I have God. And so, and like, even though like you see me tearing up and, I might get sad and stuff like that, I still don't feel, super sad. I feel joy underneath of it. I don't know how that makes any sense, but I just feel a sense of peace. Like, I know this sucks, but everything's going to be okay. And that's what God really does for my life. Even when it's like the worst situation, even when I like the worst thing that I could possibly imagine happens, even when things don't turn out the way that I want them to, I still have that faith and that hope. underneath everything. I still feel like God's going to work it out regardless. And I hope that that's what you do too. I'm going to hurry up and get off of here because I have to go work out and then I got to go be someplace. And then after I leave there, then I'm probably just going to continue to work on my business if I have enough time. Well, I should because I'm going to do some of that this afternoon and I'm going to do some more later on. And I don't have anything planned for this later this afternoon. So I really have until this evening. I have a good, once I get back, I probably have a good 4 hours to work on my business. So I plan on updating this thing and I got this project that I'm working on that God placed on my heart to do. So I definitely have to do it because the last time I had a project that God placed on my heart to do, it was a book. And I had no idea that was going to happen. So I'm trying to be real obedient. You know what I'm saying? And so, in conclusion, when it comes to your life, stay focused on God. I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. You could get so distracted by the things around you in the world and what people tell you you should and shouldn't have and everything else. And the only thing that matters is God. The only thing that matters to me right now, while I'm hurting, while I'm going through whatever else it is that I'm going through in my life, is that I stay focused on God. God literally is the only thing giving me strength in this moment. I really sometimes feel like I don't know how, I really don't know how I'm going to make it to the next day. And God's like, I got you. O ye of little faith. My plans are not to harm you, but to prosper you. And yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will fear no evil because God is with you. His rod is his discipline, and his staff is his direction. Sometimes we forget that when things happen in our life, it's to direct our paths. It's to show us where God intends for us to go so that we can be on the journey that God set forth for us in the destination that he determined for us. So we can be in our purpose in the right position. If we go somewhere that we're not supposed to be, we're going to be off course. And if we really want the things that God wants for us, if we really want to benefit the kingdom, then we have to stay focused on God. I know sometimes in life, or most of the time, we really don't know what's going to happen in life. But I promise you, God got you. I promise you that everything is going to be okay. I know you're probably like, how can you say that when you don't know my life? I don't know your life, but I know God. And I know God is who he says he is, and he's a God that he cannot lie. If God is for you, he's more than the whole world against you. So do not grow weary in well doing, because everything is going to be okay.